Welcome back to Nation of Glory. Tonight, we step into the ring with a man whose life has been a whirlwind of triumph, tragedy, power, and redemption. A man who struck fear into opponents with a single glance, whose fists wrote history with every thunderous punch, and whose story goes far beyond the boxing ring. This is the journey of Michael Gerard Tyson, Iron Mike Kid Dynamite, and the baddest man on the planet, one of the most extraordinary and controversial athletes the world has ever known. Mike Tyson was born on June 30, 1966, in Brooklyn, New York. His childhood was anything but easy. He grew up in the tough neighborhood of Brownsville, surrounded by poverty, crime, and violence. His father left when he was young, leaving his mother, Lorna Tyson, to raise Mike and his siblings alone. The streets became a dangerous playground for the young boy, a place where trouble was never far away. By the time Mike was 11 years old, he had been arrested multiple times for petty crimes, often fighting older boys who underestimated him. But there was something about him, an intensity in his eyes, a raw strength in his small frame that made him stand out. Trouble may have been his companion, but destiny was quietly waiting around the corner. At the age of 13, Tyson's life took a turn when he was sent to a juvenile detention center. There, a counselor noticed his remarkable fighting ability and introduced him to boxing. Soon after, Tyson met legendary trainer Cus D'Amato, a man who would become a father figure, mentor, and the architect of his boxing career. Cus saw greatness in the boy from Brooklyn. He taught him discipline, strategy, and the philosophy that boxing was not just about strength, it was about outthinking your opponent, controlling fear, and mastering yourself. Tyson absorbed everything Cus taught him. He trained relentlessly, honing his speed, power, and defensive skills. By the time he turned professional at the age of 18, he was a force of nature, fast, explosive, and utterly ruthless in the ring. In 1986, at just 20 years old, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history, knocking out Trevor Berbick in the second round. The world had never seen anything like him. He was short for a heavyweight, but he moved like lightning, and his punches could end a fight in seconds. From that moment, Tyson's name was everywhere. He became a global sensation, feared by opponents, adored by fans, and respected by the boxing world. He unified the heavyweight titles, dominating fight after fight with a ferocity that seemed unstoppable. His record was terrifying. Opponents often lost before the first punch was thrown, intimidated by his reputation and the cold glare he gave across the ring. But as his fame grew, so did the pressures and temptations outside of boxing. The money, the spotlight, and the constant attention brought challenges that even Tyson's legendary strength couldn't block. His personal life became chaotic, filled with controversy, legal issues, and relationships that made headlines as often as his fights. The man who was untouchable in the ring began to lose control outside of it. In 1990, the boxing world was shocked when Tyson lost to Buster Douglas in one of the biggest upsets in sports history. Douglas, a 42-1 underdog, knocked out the seemingly invincible champion in the 10th round. It was a moment that reminded the world that even the greatest can fall. Tyson's career and life spiraled after that loss. He faced prison time, missed years in his prime, and struggled with personal demons that threatened to destroy him. But Tyson's story is not just one of dominance and downfall, it's one of resilience and redemption. After serving his sentence, he returned to the ring, regaining the heavyweight title in 1996. The fire was still there, and his power still unmatched, but time had taken its toll. Losses followed, and by the early 2000s, Tyson's boxing career was nearing its end. Yet even as the wins faded, his place in history was secure. He had become more than a fighter, he was an icon, a symbol of both the heights of human achievement and the depths of human struggle. In the years after leaving the ring, Tyson surprised the world with a transformation no one could have predicted. He embraced humility, spoke openly about his mistakes, and found new passions. He appeared in movies, wrote books, performed on stage in a one-man show, and even entered the world of business, from cannabis ventures to podcasting. The fierce, intimidating fighter who once terrified opponents became a man known for his humor, honesty, and unexpected wisdom. Tyson's journey has been one of extremes, from a troubled youth in Brooklyn to the youngest heavyweight champion in history, from the heights of fame to the depths of despair, and finally, to a man at peace with his past. His story resonates not just because of his victories in the ring, but because of the battles he fought outside of it, battles with himself, his circumstances, and the choices he made. Mike Tyson remains a legend, not only because he was one of the greatest to ever put on gloves, but because his life proves that no matter how hard you fall, there is always a chance to rise again. His power wasn't just in his fists, it was in his ability to survive, adapt, and keep fighting long after the final bell. This is Nation of Glory, and that was the story of Iron Mike Tyson, a champion, a warrior, and a man who showed the world that even the baddest man on the planet can find a way to change, grow, and inspire. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel for more powerful journeys that will keep you listening until the very last word.